What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now today we're going to be making this vote to kick system. Enter in the player's name. This is something along the lines of it. I configured it to a one-person thing. So enter in your username or any username you'd like to click. Press yes! And you've been disconnected from the game because you've been voted to kick. Let's get into it. Yo man, what's going on, everybody? My name is Rishraff and welcome back to the channel. So, as you may have heard of, I recently got banned. Well, not recently, about two and a half months ago, over something I was random. I was joining Roblox places and I got kicked randomly from the game. It was just a black screen, so I decided to leave, and then I got banned for no reason. I tried to fight it, but of course Roblox is no longer going to reopen my case or do anything for me after the $230 I invested in Roblox. But enough of that. I'm here to help you guys make a vote to kick system, which is very complex. So I am using a new Mac or new computer because I got IP banned for some reason on Roblox. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. So if you do hear a different keyboard, I'm not using the standard mechanical keyboard anymore, so you will hear a little bit more of the keyboard and a light theme. So let's go ahead and actually just get started. First things first, let's get into it. Let's go ahead and go to the replicated storage. We're going to insert a remote event. And once we insert the remote event, we're going to rename it to kick player. Capital K and capital P. Now this is very important because we want to reference this from the script and when we fire and call the event. So now that we're in script, we're going to go rs equals game get service replicated storage. Now we're going to go ahead and reference that event that we put in earlier. We do rs replicated storage dot kick player on server event :connect function player who sent, and then we do PLR, which is automatically sent in the event, not plug and drag. And this is how we're going to on server event the remote event, and when this event is fired, we're going to go and call this function and do whatever is inside the function and end. So for IV in pairs game get service, and we're going to get the players service, and this is how we're going to search the players with the IV in pairs trick. And after we search that, we're going to go ahead and use this to verify if the player is in the game. And at the end of players, you can write get players. This is gathers all the players that are found inside the game. And V is what we're searching for. So if player, you're probably wondering where we get player from. Player is taken in the argument. It's the second argument in the function at the top of the on server connect. And if player equals V, V is any player dot name. So if the player in the server event is a player in the game, then we're going to go ahead and set local player equals V. So that way, if the player is found in the game, if PLR equals V, then okay, cool. Now we have player equals V, and we have verified that a player is existing in this game. And if this player does not have a string value, which we're going to set up in the local script later, named kick player, we're going to set it's an int value. We're going to set a new one for it, int value, and we're going to parent it to player, and the name of the string value is going to be named kick number, and its kick number and kick player will actually be coming up in the local script. And after this end, we're going to do player.kickNumber dot value. And this references the int value. If you've watched my previous tutorials, you'll notice that we use int values and string values a lot. And you'll notice I put player.kickNumber plus 1. It's player.kickNumber.value. Make sure to get that, because I did not put that, but it's player.kickNumber.value. See at the top line above the one I'm writing right now. Now, if player find first child kick number.value. Now, if they have 3 kicks or higher, this is the amount of kicks that, in order for the player to be kicked out of the game, that we need to reach. This is highly configurable. We're going to player kick built-in function to Roblox, and we're going to kick it. And the inside the parentheses and quotation is the reason why the player gets kicked. So you've been voted to be kicked out of the server, and that's how that works. And we're going to end that there for the kick number equals 3. But if this kick number does equal, let's just say 2, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to give the player a warning. Now, I'm not going to show you how to do that, but I'm going to comment a line to where it would be an example. For example, player.GUI.messageUI.enable equals true. This gives a player a warning. And then we're going to go and do the same thing for if the kick number equals 1. You don't actually need these if and ends in your script if you do not want to warn the player, but it is always nice to warn the player that they're misbehaving and players are voting for them to be kicked in your game. Next, you're going to want to go toward the starter GUI, insert an object called a screen GUI, rename it the kick UI. UI is in capital. And inside that screen GUI, go ahead and insert a local script. And after you insert this local script, go ahead and in the screen GUI, go ahead and along with that, go ahead and insert a frame. Now this frame will be used as a background. You can customize it however you want, but make sure to customize your code as well. Next, we're going to need a text box. This text box can take input. I'm going to name my text box player name, capital P and capital N. Just know you can name yours whatever you want as long as it's in compliance with the player script. Now, in Roblox, it's a very name-based studio, so make sure you name what you're going to need in your script and in your Explorer tab. With other engines, you can just classify your classes, and then it'll be easier, and you can name your stuff whatever you want. But in Roblox, you're going to need to name your stuff specifically. So after inserting another text label, we're going to go ahead and just make this really simple. Just align it, make a little button, drag our stuff. So I'm not going to get really much into detail with UI design and dragging. So now we're going to open up that script, the local script that we did have, and we're going to reference the get service replicated storage again. We're going to go ahead and reference that event that we did place there at the beginning of the video, and go ahead and add another variable called current player, and it's just going to be the local player who's playing on the machine, you or me playing locally. If you don't get what local means, it's just you, it's no other player. It can only be one player if it's a local player. We're going to create a function. Remember, functions can only be called. Now, they can't just go off by themselves. They have to be called. And they can be called in millions of different ways. I'm going to go ahead and name my function getPlayerFromName. And it's going to take an argument name. It's going to use a for loop for IV in pairs. I'm going to go ahead and give the argument of game, get service, And the service we're going to want to get is the player service. And just like earlier, we need to get players. Once we've gotten the players, this is another way to ensure that the player does exist in our game and it takes the input that we want it to get. Now, if v.name equals, .lower. Now, this is a built-in Roblox function to verify that names do exist. Now, if the name is in our system or player list, if v.name.lower or :lower equals name :lower, if it exists, then we're going to return v. Then it does, and we get a return. Return value is just a function's way of saying yes or no, in what context you want to use it in. Next, below that, 2 lines below that, we're going to go script.parent.frame, as you can reference from the Explorer tab. .submit, submit is a child of frame. We're going to use Roblox's built-in function, mouse button 1 click, :connect function, and it's going to auto-complete that end at the end. Get it, end at the end. And the player name equals script.parent.frame.playername.text. That's the input we're going to do. So if I do person A and I press submit, the player name is going to be A. Or if I literally typed in person A, whatever I typed in, player name would equal to. And that's how you do it with an input field. Now, you'll notice when you type, if you type this correctly, you'll get a warning. Player name is not local, but you don't get a warning under PLR because it is local. Don't worry about that warning. You're going to get that warning sometimes. It just means that it's telling you to make it local, but we make it a warning. So what if it's a warning? Because you can access it globally from the script then. Now, we're going to call local player PLR equals get player from name, that function, and player name that we've inserted. So now we're going to take the inserted name and run it through our check get player name, and we've made that function. So we're going to see if the name that we entered does in fact exist in our game. Now, if PLR, after that, because we use the return, if PLR, if the player even exists, then we're going to go ahead and write if not current player. So if we do not have the current player, and if the current player does not have something called voted to kick, and we're going to do the current player's name. So if the player does not have a voted to kick string value, then we're going to do replicated storage, kick player, fire server. Easy. So if not, then we're going to fire the kick server. And then we're going to instance new. After we kick the player, we're going to instance a new string value. And we're going to parent it to current player dot name, and the name is voted to kick dot current player. And just if we don't have it, then just give it. It's that simple. So you might want to stop the video here, maybe pause it, take a look at what we just did. So at the end of that string value, you can add an else, and it's going to be you already voted to kick this player, and then wait 5 seconds and change it back to submit. And then the other line is actually referencing the player. If there is not a player, then just type player not found. So how this works is it gets the player's input, and make sure you correct all your typos, but what it basically does is it gets the player's input and it checks it with that function that we just did, and it returns that as, okay, there's a player found. Then if there is a player, go ahead and kick them. Call the event, I mean. You know, we can't just kick him if he doesn't have the 3 kicks or 3 votes. And then we're just adding else's. And this is the back end of the server receiving that kick. If player exists in the server, and go ahead and do it. So we're gonna go and test it. I'm gonna go and try and kick myself. And it will not work because you've already voted to kick this player. Now, if I typed in a random username, nothing would show up. It would just show player not found in the server. So I just want to thank you guys so much for watching. It took me a while to get this video up, and I'm so sorry. Expect maybe a video once a week or 2 weeks. I'm so sorry about that, with all the school finals coming up. But I wish you a happy Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for all my subscribers and everything that I have. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great week and just a great year.
Listen.